Hello, Stargazers. Alessandra Coffey reporting to you today. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be a Virgo? Or do you have a colleague who is in the sign of Virgo and they seem to have everything working for them? And you're kind of wondering, what could I learn from this sign? What exactly could I learn from this sign? Well, if so, you're in luck today because I am covering what I have learned from Virgo when encompassing a trait from this sign. Just to be clear, since I know it was kind of made unclear in the last couple of videos that I have done in the Earth series, is what I'd like to call it. So, what I'm doing with the 12 zodiac signs is basically taking a trait from each sign, and then within roughly a week and a half to 2 weeks, I'm just encompassing that trait within that sign. And as I've said, this has been a project that I have been undergoing since November of last year. So these are my findings from that week and a half to 2 week period of encompassing this particular sign's traits. For Virgo, I do have to say that this particular trait was actually quite interesting and quite informative. It was the trait of having a routine can help to prioritize mental energy. And I also can add it can help to prioritize and make room for one's given day. So Virgo roughly is between, so if somebody's a native of this sign, usually they're born between the 22nd of August. And so these are kind of rough approximations. So 22nd of August to roughly about like the 22nd to the 23rd of September. And again, it depends on the year, the sun's movement within each sign. Whichever date the sun happens to be 0 degrees within a particular sign is when that sign actually starts. So with Virgo, those are the rough dates around there. Usually natives to Virgo always get a bad reputation. I find that they're like Scorpio, where they kind of get a lot of misrepresentation when it comes to their sign. A lot of people tend to look at Virgo and say, "Oh, they're the perfectionistic sign." They just like everything in their own respective places. They have to have everything just so. They could drive me nuts because they could be very prudish, and they can be very perfectionistically oriented, and actually not everything about those characteristics are necessarily true. With Virgo, they're very much like their counterpart, or they're very much like their cousin of Libra, or their next door neighbor of Libra, in the regard that both signs can be very perfectionistic in their own right. However, unlike Libra's aim is looking for balance within life, where Virgo's aim is looking more for social order, a little bit of precision in there, but more like order within the disorder and the chaos within life. In a way, I tend to liken them, if you guys are familiar with the Enneagram, I tend to liken their goal and their modus operandi as that of the Enneagram Type 1. Now, what a lot of people also don't know is that there's two types of Virgos as well that are out there. There is the precise oriented type of Virgo, where when you walk into their home, everything is in their respective place, everything is in their own little niche, everything is exactly where that Virgo feels comfortable having everything be as well. They can be very neat and very organized. Also, they can be very socially conscious or very rule oriented. They like following a certain set of structure and rules. They can be so within the perfectionistic sign, they can also be very so logically oriented, due to the fact that Mercury is their ruling planet as well. So they like to have background knowledge with everything. Now, there's also the creative clutter type of Virgo, where they don't necessarily have to have a very neat, organized space. Like, these are the individuals that can have a very disorderly desk, or they can have a disorderly house, and it looks very disordered and kind of dysfunctional to the outsider's viewpoint. but to their mind, they know exactly where everything is. Normally, with these types of Virgos, the creative clutter, which I think many Virgos fall under a lot of the time, the creative clutter type of Virgos, they usually like to have things in little piles or in little stacks. That way, it's not just haphazard random mess. Again, they know exactly what's in each stack. There is a little bit of order, but it's not as precise and organized and clean as those who are the clean or precise Virgos. If that makes sense. If for some reason you guys still have some questions with that, please feel free to leave a comment or please feel free to ask that question down below. So, with natives of Virgo, again, being also a very logical sign, they love to have things explained. Sometimes I think sometimes their downfall is that they love to have things explained a little too much. Like they don't want to go into a venture without having known everything about that particular venture. They don't like to do things unless they know every single thing about it. So, libraries are very important to these signs, having a wealth of knowledge, and not just like one book of knowledge, but like a series of books is usually where this sign tends to go. This is a sign that really loves research and really loves facts as well too. With that said, the particular trait that I decided to go for when it came to learning from Virgo was that having a routine is actually great in life because it helps to prioritize mental energy, which seems to be a very big thing. Prioritizing mental energy seems to be a very big thing for Virgo. Now, what I found is that, well, first and foremost, being a Leo with a moon in Libra, I am very haphazard when it comes to routine. My day usually starts off with, well, gee, what do you want to do? And, being indecisive as well. It could be 2 hours of, God, we could do this or we could do that. Like we could go for a walk or we could start a vlog or we could work with your screenplay. It all just depends on what you want to do. And 2 hours later, there's a lot of inaction and then like slow action starting with a particular routine or a particular activity for the day. So I actually found Virgo's sense of routine to be very helpful to me when encompassing this for a week and a half. The only thing that I really could think of that could be a routine for me every day was to make lists and to make lists of things that I desire to do within a given day and also things that I had to do within a given day. And I basically just start every morning just listing everything that I want to get to within a particular day. And what I found with this list was that it helped me to not only prioritize my mental energy, I not only had a lot of time to think and to actually dive into a particular project for that given day, but it also helped me to organize my day as well too, to where I could actually enjoy it far more. And I found that to be incredibly helpful. And I just found the days that I actually had done this to be incredibly smooth. And they went very smoothly. And actually, I was able to get loads done as well too, as opposed to my normal habit of, gee, what do I want to do today? So I actually found that I learned a lot from Virgo as well. And even though I mentioned in my blog, I don't always get along with Virgos, being a Leo and also being in the, having a moon sign in Libra, I don't always get along with Virgos and they don't always seem to like wherever I tend to go or whatever I tend to do. I actually found that whenever I'm in the presence of a Virgo, they always impart really great ideas to me that are very practical and very wonderful in structuring my day. And sometimes that's the one thing that I really need in my life more than anything is that bit of structure and is that bit of, orderliness that Virgo likes to bring not only into their world, but also into society as full functioning citizens. So, stargazers, for those of you who are natives to Virgo, how'd this match up? Does this seem to, match up, or do the descriptions that I've actually mentioned seem to match up with you guys? Or do you have some further insights that could be helpful not only to me, but also to many other stargazers who are learning from your sign? And from those who are in a different sign and who are learning from Virgo, how does this match up with what you are learning and what you have found when it comes to the great insights and the great depths of this particular sign? Please feel free to comment down below. I also recommend that you guys take a look at my video on Taurus that I had made last week. As I said, I'm endeavoring to cover the earth signs. I had also made a video on Capricorn as well too, and what I've learned from each respective signs. So please feel free to take a look at those two individual links. It should appear at the right hand side of your screen. I'm not going to point to it because I pointed to the wrong place the last time around with the video cast. Well, stargazers, this is what I have for now. As I normally say on my blog, this is where my jet fuel, my rocket pack is empty, and I have to go back down to Earth from the constellation that I was covering, the constellation of the sign that I was covering. But as always, feel free to look up at the stars and up at the night sky. If nothing else, it gives you a nice pause and a nice break. And above all, within this pandemic especially, and also just within the world that we are living in, as always, be well, and I will see you next time within my next vlogcast.